to Ryan Wells, who comes up the middle to about the 25. Now let's join our colleague on the field, Todd Harris.
Thank you, Keith. Well, yesterday the rumors began, and this morning hope turned into reality. Stanford's All-American Troy Walters will not only play, he's going to start. What they're going to do, 2 layers of orthoplast, a layer of foam, and a heavy tape job. Initially, a hand surgeon looked at it, said, no way, that wasn't good enough for Troy Walters. They talked to some NFL team doctors. They said, brace it, and the kid can play, and we know Troy Walters. And I got to tell you, in warm-ups, he didn't drop a ball. Keith?
All right, here we go to the air, right out of the box. It is Durrani Pitts getting up to the 30-yard line for a pickup of about 5 yards. Jamar Fletcher brought him down. The AT&T starting lineups for the Stanford Cardinal. Up front, anchored by number 73, Mike McLaughlin, sore knee and all, making his 46th consecutive start. This group allowed only 15 sacks. Wide receivers, the Troy Walters story you know about by now. And the other people up there, Durrani Pitts, Russell Stewart, and later in the day, Dave Davis, they're good. Todd Husak, of course, is the man pulling the trigger, and very important in the whole scheme of things. They'll go with a running play, and it's going to work for a first down, or very close to it, as Brian Allen, a 190-pounder out of Ontario, California, carried it. Jason Doring made the tackle. Wisconsin defense along the front, number 77, Wendell Bryant, very good sophomore, big game here last year. The officials are going to measure, apparently, as they've stopped the clock. The linebacking core for Wisconsin, number 16, Chris Godorzi, leads the team in tackles. Number 19, Roger Knight, is a tough blitzer. In the defensive secondary, number 2 cornerback Jamar Fletcher has led the Big Ten in interceptions in successive seasons, 7 each year, and 5 of them for touchdowns. And while they are measuring, let me give you the officials. Dennis Hennigan is the referee. Bruce Palmer, the umpire. John McGrath, head linesman. Paul Tide, line judge. Milt Hagen, side judge. Tom Tomzik, the field judge. Gary Danzowitz, the back judge, and Jack Kramer's the alternate. And they are from the Big East Conference.
And Keith, Mike McLaughlin did get his 46th start of his career for Stanford, but that's about it. He limped to the sideline, and Zach Quasha now has taken over at center. Joe Fairchild moves into that left guard position.
And the ball is on the 35-yard line. First down for the Stanford Cardinal, wearing the white uniform. Husak back, passes away in a hurry. Ball is off the hands of Troy Walters. The ball was thrown in such a place that that sore right hand had to be the one underneath to make the catch, and he didn't get it.
It's going to be a great battle all afternoon long here. Number 2, Jamar Fletcher for Wisconsin, and Troy Walters. It's his right hand, remember. Fletcher gets away with a little grab there, and that kept Walters from getting the ball. But remember, it's his right hand, and that ball went off his fingertips, did not have the strength to pull it in.
And it's second down and 10. This is Brian Allen losing his balance on some contact from Jason Doring, and Doring is big old safety. He's going to be in their face all afternoon. Count on it as a pickup on the yard of a couple of yards on the play.
And for our Dell Graphic Solutions, our game solutions for Wisconsin obviously played physical football. Barry Alvarez says that his team's bigger, they're tougher, they're stronger, and they will wear out Stanford.
Jay Bozé has come into the backfield on a nickel situation as it's obvious passing down for Stanford on 3rd down and 8. And Todd Husak has changed the play at the line of scrimmage. Drops back and throws. The ball is batted up in the air. The ball was intended for Dave Davis, but it was John Favre, the rush end, who reached up and slapped it away. And so now it brings up 4th down, and here comes what has been this season a weak part of the Stanford football team. Their kicking game has not been all that good. On the other hand, Wisconsin offers you Nick Davis, who is deep as the punt returner, and he's one of the best in the conference, and those numbers right there show you why. The flag is down. The kick is pretty good. Ball is downfield. That'll get a penalty flag because they didn't clear him for the required 2 yards. Randy Fasani came down and hit him. Didn't give him the clearance to catch the football. So you got a flag back up here at the 35-yard line, the line of scrimmage. You got a flag down where the contact was made on the attempted reception of the punt.
The big thing about that graphic we saw, our FedEx team comparison, it's all about field position. and Nick Davis provides field position with his ability to return punts. He has a 71-yard touchdown return this year against Murray State, and he is a big difference maker for Wisconsin. As referees sort this one out.
On the kicking team, the flag for fair catch interference will be disregarded as the player was pushed into the receiving player.
So the Cardinal get a bit of a break on that because Fasani, when he came down and made the contact, was blocked into the receiver. And as a result, that flag is picked up and the ball will stay down pretty deep where Wisconsin will start its first possession. So Barry Alvarez grumbling a bit on the call, and we've got timeout in the early going of the Rose Bowl. And Nick Davis is waiting. The punt is away. Not as good as the first one. Sean Tolpenrud, who's had a tough year punting the ball, didn't get all of that one. So Wisconsin, in reality, comes out with a better starting field position. Now the AT&T starting lineup for the Wisconsin Badgers. Along the front, number 75, Chris McIntosh, is a mountain of a man at 6'7" and 310. He's where they go for the hard stuff. The wide receiver core understated here. Number 88, Chris Chambers, very good. Backfield, quarterback Brooke Bollinger's development this year has been a great asset for Ron Dayne. He took some of the pressure off Dayne, but it's not a big guess as to who gets the ball on the first carry, is it? As Big Ron takes it and hammers it right up the pipe and runs into, guess who? Willie Howard, who's in there playing with an ACL knee. The defense for the Stanford Cardinal is the one that's really under the gun. The people in the front have a chore of considerable dimension. Willie Howard is that defensive end with that sore knee. The linebackers have got to be good today because you can't let Ron Dayne get into the secondary. There's nobody back there except the strong safety Tim Smith, big enough to take him on. Here's Bollinger on a rollout. The Cardinal defense in full pursuit. Willie Howard and Sharka Steen, and they take him down behind the line of scrimmage.
That's really going to be the key, Keith, for stopping the rollout and the bootlegs for Wisconsin. Stanford's going to run their linebackers at the quarterback. But having number 77 in the game is the real plus. You can see the brace on his right knee, but you can also see his ability to get into the face of the blocker and make a play on the quarterback.
And he's over there against that great big old 280-pound tight end, Retzlaff. That's why they wanted him in there, and it's now third down and 13. Ball is in the air and long, incomplete. Intended for Nick Davis, who, in addition to returning punts for Wisconsin, is also a very good flanker. Defended by Tank Williams, who's making his first start in a long time for Stanford in the secondary.
And after getting 5 yards with Ron Dayne on first down, Stanford's defense comes up with a big play on second down, and then Bollinger, not where he's most comfortable, in the pocket, overthrows a wide open Nick Davis.
Kevin Stepke is in the punt. He's a good one. He's got a bit of a sore back much of the season. The kick is away. It's a high kick, and it's going to Durrani Pitts on a fair catch call at the 25-yard line. So there the Cardinals will take over, and you go punt. In the first two possessions of the ball game, that punt was 39 yards. There is no score. The weather's getting better as the hours go by on this New Year's Day 2000. First down for the Cardinals from their own 25-yard line. Husak turns and hands the ball off to Corey Wire, who's in at the tailback position, and Wire will pick up maybe 3 yards on the carry. Todd Harris.
Thank you, Keith. Unfortunate news for Stanford. You know, we interviewed Mike McLaughlin earlier this week. He had a streak going where he hadn't missed a start. Well, apparently he'd done more damage to that knee earlier in the week. It's a torn ACL. They let him have the start so he could keep the streak alive and go out as senior on top. But he is done for the day. The real concern now is the long snapper, John Sandy. They are really going to need him. And Coach Tyrone Willingham is very concerned. Back to you.
Second down and 7 for the Cardinal. Ball is handed off to Corey Wire again. Goes around the left side. He's a tough guy. And he's going to pick up about 3 yards on that carry with Bobby Myers coming up from the safety position to make the play.
What we saw there, though, is a counterplay, and Bill Dietrich, offensive coordinator for Stanford, said that because Wisconsin is very, very disciplined, that allows us to predict what type of defense they're going to be in. So we feel that counterplays are going to be effective, and misdirection, we can look for some reverses, especially to Troy Walters.
You got 4 wideouts on the field now for Stanford on 3rd down and long 3. Cusack goes to the sideline. Pass is complete to Troy Walters. 1st down. Cardinal. He caught the ball in front of Jamar Fletcher. Fletcher backed off and gave him a little cushion as Cusack came off the snap, and Walters broke the play and stopped just beyond the marker.
And did you see the smile on Troy Walters' face? A smile of relief that he caught the ball. And it's a good catch, too, and he has to use both his hands. Tucks the ball away into his left hand and tries to protect the right hand. Even had to give a high five with his left hand.
Number 11, Joe Borchard, comes into the ball game now at quarterback, and he basically is a single back on the 1st down snap with 4 or 5 wideouts on the field for this play. And Joe, the baseball player, punts it, takes off up the middle with it, and he's caught from behind. Wendell Bryant got a hold of him as he went by. If Bryant doesn't get him, he's got maybe 10, 12, 15 yards.
Yeah, he had a 56-yard run against UCLA this year. Might have gone farther, but in his own admission, said he ran out of gas.
Joe's got a decision to make as whether or not he comes back to play football next year, because the anticipation is the baseball folks are going to be bringing a wallet and ringing a cash register in front of him. 2nd down and 8 now. And Cusack is back in there. And sacked. It's Bryant. Wendell Bryant had a huge game here a year ago against the UCLA Bruins, and he's starting on like gangbusters again. The loss is going to be back to the 33-yard line.
Here he is right here, number 77, his 7th sack of the year. He just beats Joe Fairchild, so you're seeing the effect of Mike McLaughlin out of the game. Fairchild moves into left guard position. Quasha, the normal left guard, is now the center.
And it is 3rd down and 14. Back down as the ball is thrown to the left side, and Kerry Carter showing up in the backfield for the first time. But let's see about the penalty.
Yeah, they killed the play, so this is probably false start against Stanford. That play wasn't going to get the first down anyway.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
I'll bet you it's Fairchild. The FedEx Orange Bowl is coming up right after the Rose Bowl game is completed here today, and we're just getting started. That will be a good football game. It's Michigan and Alabama. 2 great running backs in that ball game, and 2 teams that love to run the football. So you might want to make sure your China doors close tightly for that one, because they'll be doing some paint swapping in the Orange Bowl, Alabama and Michigan. 3rd down now. Cusack with time, and now is hit as he throws, and for the first time the penetration came from the inside as Wendell Bryant is finding some daylight in the Stanford offensive blocking.
Boy, they really are. He's from the right side of the screen here. Fairchild turns out on him, but watch Cusack trying to find a spot in the pocket, but Bryant just too much for the left side of the Stanford offensive line.
Anthony Gabriel is in to do the snapping, so Sandy, this long snapper, that ball is snapped high, but Toppenroot gets it out. It's a good punt. Spinning and carrying to the 34-yard line, where Nick Davis makes the fair catch. So Gabriel snapped it high, but Toppenroot saved it. Every play starts with a center, and when you lose a guy like McLaughlin, I mean, you have lost a lot. 46 consecutive starts, every start in his entire career. And there's Big Mike. He's big. He occupies a lot of space. So now Wisconsin will go from their 34-yard line, 1st down. No score in the ball game, 1st quarter. Time remaining, 8:13. Bollinger turns and gives it to Ron Dayne, and Dayne's got about 3 yards.
And Keith Ardell game solutions for Stanford on defense. Very, very simple. Kent Baird, defensive coordinator, says control Ron Dayne. You notice the word stop Ron Dayne is not in there. Obviously, when a guy averages 6 yards per carry and does most of his damage on first and second down, you don't stop number 33.
He's the single back. He's got the ball. They slow him down behind the line of scrimmage, and they get him. That was good penetration. Austin Lee, number 94, made the tackle, but Willie Howard was in there to mess up the play behind the line of scrimmage.
Another miracle worker, number 77, second guy in here. You see he's jumping right now to the outside. He beats Dave Retzlaff. And that's going to be a battle all day long, but that's why Willie Howard has been moved to defensive end, because of his quickness to get in front of Retzlaff and force Dayne to cut it back where the linebackers are waiting.
So it is third down and 8. Ballinger back. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, but gets away from that. But he's going to be knocked down just about where the ball was snapped. Sharkus Steen again in on the action, and this time it was Frank Primus firing in to force him.
Kent Baird's going to bring some pressure here. Here is Frank Primus, and he's coming on the corner blitz here. Now what should happen is Ballinger should throw the release right here. He doesn't get it done, and now there's just no way he can pick up that yardage for the first down.
The snap bounces back to the punter, but it's a beauty from Stepke running Durrani Pitts all the way back to the 11-yard line, where he makes the fair catch, and there the Cardinal will have it. First down, Stanford. They're on 11 with no score. 6:09 to go, first quarter.
Every year I say, I'm going to quit smoking. Day later, I'm at it again. Till this year. See this? My last piece of Nicorette gum. Been smoke-free with Nicorette now for 12 weeks. With Nicorette, I help control my cravings 2 ways. I used it on a regular schedule to help curb them. And then for unexpected cravings, I took another piece. And now, no more craving, no more nicotine. Happy New Year.
For a better quit date, you'll have to wait another 1,000 years. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
With the AT&T one-rate 7-cent plan, calls are just 7 cents a minute all day, every day.
What about Canada?
What?
Canada.
Yeah, same thing. With the international plan, it's 7 cents a minute always.
What about all the other countries in the world? Japan, Mexico, Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
All right. Every country has its own low rate.
What about France? France.
Same low rate as France.
Great. I'm going to go call France.
Which is right near France.
7 cents to Canada and great rates around the world. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
There will be a next one. One who changes the game by control, by speed, by power. The NHL on ABC.
Call now and you can own a copy of the official Rose Bowl game program from today's game. It's the same one sold at the game, and it makes a terrific souvenir. The Sugar, Fiesta, and Orange Bowl programs are also available. Call 1-800-769-8843 now.
You want to join ABC Sports in Atlanta for the Super Bowl? Watch Monday Night Football for all the details this Monday night. But remember, you got to watch to win. Got to change defensively for Stanford. Marcus Hoover, number 92, goes into the ball game, replacing Willie Howard. Let's see what the Badgers do with that change. Now they got a penalty flag first off.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Worth noting, I think, here that it's been 48 days since Wisconsin played a game. They finished their season November 13.
And Keith, a long layoff like that will affect an offense more than a defense. So far for Wisconsin, they've had 2 possessions, both of them 3 plays and out.
And it's first down and 15. Chad Coons, fullback. And now we're ready. On 1st and 15, Bollinger sets under.
Watch it now, watch it now.
Gives to Dayne. A little move left, a little move right, then back into the middle. And Tyrone Willingham talking about getting ready for this ball game. What to think about. The message to the team, and this is what he said.
Respect and don't fear. Okay, respect them. Good football team. Done some great things. But at the same time, don't fear them. We've done some good things. And if we play our game, we become difficult to deal with.
They've been difficult so far. Well, the offense hasn't done much. The defense has stepped up pretty well. 2nd down. Call it 12. Bollinger, a little roll, a little play action. Now steps away with pursuit. The white shirts are everywhere. And he'll get it back to the 35-yard line. And it's going to be 3rd down and 11. Sharka Steen and Andrew Curry very much involved in that play for the Cardinal.
And again, Sharka Steen recognized the bootleg. Here he is right in the middle. As soon as Bollinger comes out this way, watch Steen come up and force him. Bollinger shows that he's a pretty good runner here. He gets away from Hoover, but there's no way to go to the outside. That forces him back where all the Cardinal are waiting for him.
Now they got trips at the bottom of the screen. 3 wide outs. At the bottom of the picture, Chris Chambers is the man moving number 88. Bollinger getting a little heat. Now pulls it in and takes off. He's past the line of scrimmage, and he's taken down, and Wisconsin will have to punt. Mark Starkbauer ran him down and made the tackle.
You know, Brooks Bollinger is only a redshirt freshman. He's had a great run of 7 games. He's 7-0 as a starter. But Stanford is trying to confuse him late at the line of scrimmage, shifting their linebackers, forcing them into obvious passing situations. And the secondary of Stanford's doing a good job. So tough start now for the freshman Bollinger.
Stiff, get a punt. Gets it out. Ooh, that's a beauty. Ronnie Fitz circles under it and lets it go. Oh, mistake. Actually didn't make that much difference because Fitz was standing on the 5-yard line, and Joey Bozay kept the ball from going into the end zone and killed it at the Stanford 2. So Wisconsin's winning the kicking game so far. In our AT&T flashback, we look back to the 1963 Rose Bowl game. That was a matchup between Ron Vander Kellen at quarterback for Wisconsin and Pete Beathard of Southern California. Do you remember it? In the game, number 88, Pat Richter, caught a record 11 passes. Pat is now the athletic director at the University of Wisconsin. And that was a football game that took about 4.5 hours to play. It was one of the longest ever. First down from the 2-yard line. The Trojans won the game, incidentally, 42-37. Out of the end zone now, Stanford in a bit of a pickle here as the big Wisconsin defensive unit swells up and will try to stuff them and get better field position yet. That was Kerry Carter, the bigger of the running backs, a freshman out of Ontario, Canada, making the carry.
So far, Wisconsin has a huge edge as far as average starting position. And with Stanford now starting this drive on the 2-yard line, it's imperative that when Wisconsin gets the ball back, they'll have great field position, but they've got to do something with the ball.
They've got the weapon if they can get him cranked up. You give him the ball on the 35-yard line all day, you're going to get beat. Ball is up the middle. He's got it in. It's Troy Walters. First down at the 31-yard line.
Cusack is cool, he's calm, he's a competitor, and with the play action fake, he gets enough time to find Troy Walters. Good protection by Stanford. With the play action, they can keep the back in, Kerry Carter, with a man right in his face. Cusack throws a perfect ball to Walters. Right in stride, huge first down.
31-yard line. Cusack falls away. That's good for a first down. Complete to Dave Davis, who's a pretty good-sized receiver. Plays bigger than 6 feet. And it's another first down for the Cardinal. That ball was caught in front of Mike Eccles.
And what Stanford's trying to do is use a double move against these aggressive corners. Eccles is almost as good as Jamar Fletcher. He doesn't go for the out and up fake because he's in a zone coverage. But Davis does a nice job of recognizing he has nothing down the sidelines. Quarterback and receiver on the same page. Another big play for Stanford.
And he moves the football to near the 48-yard line for the Cardinal and a first down. First real movement by either offense so far in the game. Given to Carter. A stand-up run like that's not going to get you much against Wisconsin. It might get you some very sore spots. Aerial coverage for today's program brought to you by AT&T, proud presenting sponsor of this 2000 Rose Bowl game. Second down, 10 for Stanford. Time remaining 1 minute coming up in the first quarter of play and no score. Ryan Allen and Casey Moore are the backs lined up behind Todd Husak. Husak still got it. Gets his pass away. It's caught. Casey Moore out of the backfield. Makes it another Stanford first down in front of Jason Doring.
And this is as good a catch as you'll ever see any receiver make. Wide receiver, tight end, halfback, but hey, how about a fullback? After the fake, Moore slips into the secondary. A bullet from Husak. And now watch the layout here by Casey Moore. If that ball is on Moore just a little bit, he may race all the way into the end zone. Great catch.
Put the ball at the 34-yard line of the Badgers and first down Stanford. Ryan Allen backfield. Husak rolls out, throws the ball to Durrani Pitts. And Durrani Pitts picks up about 11 yards and gets another first down. He picks up more than that. He got close to 13-14. So put it inside the 20. First down for Stanford at the Wisconsin 17-yard line. Chris Cadorzi made the tackle.
And this offense of Stanford is doing a great job of controlling the ball, giving their defense a rest on the sidelines and keeping Ron Dayne off the field.
And we're running down to the final seconds of the first quarter. No score, Stanford threatening. ABC Sports presentation of the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. To that ball coming back.
This is in real time, and the quarterback, as you said, the holder is the quarterback, Todd Husak, and he might have lost a fingernail or two on that one.
Handled it well, though, and Vaselli just nailed it. Here's the kickoff by Vaselli, driving it all the way into the end zone. Wow, 4 yards deep. Nick Davis is coming out. Runs into his own man. That slows him down, and he'll go down at about the 15-yard line. Now time for the Aflac trivia question. Which was the last non-Big Ten or Pac-10 team to play in the Rose Bowl? Do you remember? Very famous college football team. So here comes Wisconsin, who've gone little so far in the offense portion of the game, trailing 3-0. Starting from the 15-yard line, Dayne bounces outside, finds daylight. Big run by Ron, and he's up to about the 35-yard line. Frank Primus and Mark Stockbauer. You never give up. You never relax with this guy on the field. He'll tear you up.
And very determined. Looked to be a little bit frustrated here. Breaks the tackle of Tim Smith. That's not a good sign for Stanford. The straight arm on Primus, who just gets one of the shoelaces to bring down Dayne after 20 yards.
That is the initial first down for the Wisconsin Badgers. Now we're going back to the kind of football game that Barry Alvarez likes to play. Physical game, big offensive line, and a big old 255-pound tailback beating on you. Goes back to the glory days of the student body right and left when John McKay was at Southern California, when he would say first quarter 3 yards, second quarter 5, third quarter 10, fourth quarter touchdown.
And he said the ball only weighs, what, 13 ounces? They shouldn't get tired carrying something that light.
One of the big reasons that offensive front moves, of course, is that big fella, number 75, McIntosh. This was the quarterback draw they were trying to run there, and Stanford didn't buy it. And Bollinger's brought down by Willie Howard. Now here's Todd Harris.
Well, Keith, you're talking about big Chris McIntosh. He is quite a performer. Now, after the team lost badly back in 1998's Outback Bowl, they had a team meeting, and he stood up and said, you know what, I didn't come to Wisconsin to go to the Outback Bowl. I came here to go to the Rose Bowl. And here he is 2 years in a row.
There's the co-MVP of this Badger team, along with Ron Dayne, number 75, Chris McIntosh, a surefire first-round pick in the NFL draft.
39-yard line. Third down, 6. Bollinger looks to the left side, gets his man, completes it to Chris Chambers, number 88. Chris Chambers is a junior out of Bedford, Ohio, and he's working on that play against Chris Johnson, number 29, in at corner for Stanford.
And Bollinger showing his maturity, throwing to his favorite receiver. And I know I could tell you he's his favorite receiver because he's caught 4 of his last 5 touchdown passes have come from Brooks Bollinger. So Bollinger's looking for number 88.
Put the ball at the 48-yard line and a first down. That's Dayne to the 50. Pick up of 2. Well, Wisconsin needs to get some air going here, Dan, because that'll open it up for Ron Dayne.
Well, the thing about Wisconsin they talk about now with the emergence of Bollinger as a quarterback is it's opened up not only Dayne, but it's helped Chambers as well.
And next year they're going to add Michael Bennett to the mix because he's going to be in the backfield with Dayne leaving, and he's out there right now, but he's out there as a wide receiver. Number 29, Michael Bennett, he's a burner out of Milwaukee. Bollinger back, going deep down the middle. He's got Chambers, and he makes the catch. First down, Wisconsin, inside the Stanford 15-yard line. He got away from Reuben Carter.
By bringing Bennett around on the reverse fake from the left side of the screen, you'll see it. It affects the middle of the secondary for Stanford. There's nobody in the middle of the field. Bollinger lays it out there, and look at Chambers with a 5-yard lead on Carter, and just an outstanding effort to bring that ball in. Look at how he protects it from hitting the ground.
35-yard gain, first down at the Stanford 15-yard line for the Badgers, their first threat of the ball game. Give it to Ron Dayne, and he'll get down just about the line of scrimmage.
But a totally different Badger football team, and it all started with that 20-yard run by Ron Dayne. He personally jump-started this offense.
Andrew Curry made that last tackle, number 99, for Stanford. Number 41, Chad Coons, comes off the field, the fullback. Bollinger gives to Dayne. Penalty flag on the field. Stockbauer, the first man to get a hold of Dayne as he crosses the line of scrimmage. And let's see about the penalty flag. It's against Wisconsin.
Brooks Bollinger, after he took over, you know, you look at the obvious here with the record and the total yards, but it's this one right here. 21-point difference with Brooks Bollinger as the starting quarterback.
Penalty is declined. Third down.
So they take the down. It brings up 3rd and 9, and declining a 5-yard penalty on the illegal shift, and leaves the football at the 14-yard line. And they've got a very good place kicker in Vitaly Pozetsky, and now timeout is called, and called quickly. 9:26 to go in the first half of play. Wisconsin threatening against Stanford's 3-0 lead. Coverage on the air of today's ball game. Pilot Marco Grabbins, And the cameraman is Greg Johnson. Now it is 3rd down and 9. Ball is on the 14-yard line. Wisconsin trying to keep it going and grab the lead. Bollinger's pass is thrown incomplete, making the play against Nick Davis. Reuben Carter, the man who got burned on the long 35-yard gain by Chris Chambers, but he was there this time.
Carter may have got away with a little bit of a hold there, but Davis has got to make that catch. He was falling down, but he still had 2 hands up on that ball. Bollinger threw it where he had to, and Carter got away with a little bit of a grab.
31-yard field goal try now from Vitaly Pizetsky, who came from the Soviet Union to a football career at Wisconsin. Kick is up, a lot of leg on it, and it's good. And at 9 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the first half, we're even at 3. High, long kick back to the 7-yard line. The return to Ryan Wells. And Wells comes up across the 20 near the 24. So there the Cardinal will go to work, a 3-3 ball game. And here's the answer to your Aflac trivia question. Which non-Big Ten Pac-10 team, the last time a non-Big Ten Pac-10 team played here, and it was Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide led by Harry Gilmer. And Gilmer, when he couldn't find a place to run, would jump up in the air and whistle a bullet. And that bunch of freshmen, this, remember, was right at the end of the war. In 1946, came out and won decisively over Southern California. Alabama spent a lot of time in Pasadena back in those days. Good play by the Wisconsin defender Roger Knight. That's the second really big play that Knight has made, because Troy Walters was behind him and had some room.
And he shows his versatility with this play. We saw him making a play in the backfield, but this is in pass coverage, and this is where Knight is so important for Wisconsin, especially in this game against Stanford. He has the ability to almost give Wisconsin a extra defensive back.
2nd down and 10. Ball is just short of the 24-yard line. Todd Husak having a pretty good ball game. Hands it off inside, goes to Coy Wire, and not much. The middle of that Wisconsin defensive front is pretty sticky. You run into the likes of Janik and Malik and Bryant, Balaji and Sprague. They make you sore. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Stanford's been trying to hit the middle of that Wisconsin defensive line with just single back. If they're going to do that, they're going to have to get a fullback in front of the tailback.
We got Walters and Pitts now as the wideouts. Pressure coming on Husak. The ball is away, thrown to Brian Allen, and there's a very decisive tackle by Jason Doring on Brian Allen, and Stanford will punt. Jason Doring is 202 pounds. He's out of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and he is a tough guy.
And what he did is he took the place of the cornerback. Here is Eccles. He's coming on the blitz, so that means Doring, as a safety, has to come out and pick up the back, Brian Allen, and he did a great job.
Punt is away by Tolfin Rood. Gets it up, gets it to turnover. Pretty good kick. Fair catch to Nick Davis. Davis handling that high floating kick very well. It'll be put down at the 29-yard line. Christine, who's a 235-pound linebacker out of Etiwanda, California, makes the tackle. Ron Dayne is fun to be around. I'm beginning to understand, the more I've seen of him the last couple of weeks, he's a very easy fellow to be around. His teammates really like him. Out of Berlin, New Jersey, a Heisman Trophy winner.
Did a great job of handling all of that Heisman hype, too, in the entire year, and especially back in New York, was happy to get back to practice, he said.
That's up to the 40 and across it, and that's a 1st down. Charkestein making another tackle.
Ron Dayne proved to everybody last year in the Rose Bowl that he's just not a power runner. On this 54-yarder against UCLA, he showed he has the speed to run away from the secondary, and then the moves to make the secondary miss. and get in the end zone.
That was a year ago. Right now, Dayne is out, and Michael Bennett is into the ball game. The ball is at the 41-yard line where it's first down, and Bollinger runs away from the pressure, gets it off downfield. He's got a man wide open. Bennett missed the ball. Michael Bennett missed the ball. There's a penalty flag back near where the ball was thrown. Willie Howard, Bill Ferrario were involved. Well, let's see how the call goes. It's against Wisconsin, clipping.
And it's on Ferrario, blocking against Willie Howard.
That's kind of scary. Willie's out there with an ACL knee as it is.
Well, let's take a look at it. 77 is Howard. Ferrario is going to come from the other side of the formation, number 60 right here. He can't catch up to him. That's a good call. Block in the back, clipping. And Willie Howard's real lucky he didn't re-injure that right knee.
Clipping on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
That's a huge penalty.
From the spot of the foul, really moves it way, way back there. The key on that play, Willie Howard still has the speed, even with that bad knee, to get out there and contain the quarterback. Much too fast for Bill Ferrario.
25-yard penalty. Ball now sits at the 16-yard line, where it's first down and 35, and Ron Dayne is back and has the ball and does not get to the line of scrimmage because Tim Smith is the only man in that defensive secondary really big enough to take him on. Smith is 230 pounds at 6'4", and Tim came up to make the tackle.
And that's what Stanford wants to do, is get Tim Smith involved in the run defense, get him up to the line of scrimmage. They're trying to shift both their inside linebackers, Mark Stockbauer and Sharkestein, to the strong side, because Wisconsin, with Dayne running behind that big offensive line, like to give him a lot of options, let him stretch the defense and then cut back.
Dayne is out. Daniels is in. Carlo Daniels. Bollinger rolls it out. Pressure coming. He gets the ball away and throws it into the crowd. Stanford almost had a sack on him back near the goal line. Austin Lee, number 94, led that defensive charge. So that Stanford Cardinal defense, about which millions of words have been written, playing pretty well right now.
And most of those millions of words have been bad words. Yeah. But you can see Lee, similar to what Willie Howard did on the play previous, with the containment on the quarterback, and then after reading the bootleg, Sharkestein is going and attacking the line of scrimmage and forcing Bollinger to throw the ball away in that case.
Ball is at the 15-yard line. It is third down and 36. Carlo Daniels. Carlos is to the outside. Michael Bennett, 29, not 39. And Stockbauer makes the hit on him, and they'll punt it.
Shows you just how critical that penalty against Bill Ferrario was. Go from a near touchdown reception by Bennett to a 1st and 25, and now an impossible situation, a 3rd and 37.
Durrani Pitts deep for this man. Kevin Stempke's punt. No pressure on Stempke. Liner. Pitts might have a little room. Bobbled it though, and he's still working at it. And he puts the ball back on the Wisconsin side of the field. Takes it down to about the 46-yard line before Bobby Myers finally tracked him down. So Durrani Pitts, nobody wrapped him. He took the hit, shook it off, and had a nice return out of it of 13 yards. Tonight, right behind us, comes the FedEx Orange Bowl from Florida. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan will be down there covering that one for you. Sean Alexander, the big running back for Alabama. Mr. Thomas for Michigan. Two teams that love to run the football and play defense. That's at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, part of the Bowl Championship Series. Kerry Carter is in the backfield. Husak keeps the ball and will run it. And will pick up about 8 yards. He was knocked out of bounds by Donnell Thompson, and a penalty flag followed them.
Yeah, actually, he stepped out of bounds, and then Thompson came with the hit. And he was only about 2 yards out of bounds, which is 2 yards too much. Donnell playing with a bad left ankle, maybe not having the speed to get him before he goes out of bounds. Now he's going to get the big penalty.
It'll be a 15-yarder.
Little razzle-dazzle for Stanford. They fake the reverse to Walters there. And then Husak does what he normally doesn't do. He doesn't run the ball that often. There's the hit out of bounds, and the flag comes flying. Watch Husak. He's looking for that first down marker. Decides to go out of bounds. That's a good call by the official.
Dennis Hennigan is the referee. They are out of the Big East Conference. Durrani Pitts and Troy Walters are the wideouts, and Wisconsin knows sooner or later they're going to give that reverse to Walters.
Faked it a couple times already in the first half.
Stanford threatening again. Husak back down the middle. It goes, and it's caught by Walters at the 3-yard line, right in front of Jamar Fletcher.
Play action pass has been very good for Stanford today, which is kind of surprising because they're not running the ball worth a lick. But it's giving Husak good pass protection. After the fake to Kerry Carter, you're going to see Walters come in from the right side of the screen in front of Jamar Fletcher. It's zone coverage by Wisconsin. Ball thrown low, so Walters doesn't have to expose his body or that bad right hand. He can cradle the ball. But did he catch it? Looked like it hit the ground.
It's a catch. They're snapping it down there. And Joe Borchard's in at quarterback. And he turns and gives the ball to Kerry Carter, the big back, and Carter at 225 gets nothing on that play. That was a pass play of 19 yards that Walters caught.
And aren't we glad that we are college football and we don't have to worry about interrupting the flow of the game by having the official go over and look into a camera as they do in that other league.
Oh, he caught it.
He caught the ball there. He's down. Then the ball comes loose. That's a good call. Borchard comes into the game on the goal line to give Stanford the ability to run the option, the bootleg, and also the quarterback draw. He scored against Notre Dame on a naked bootleg in the last game.
The strong-legged fellow, Coy Wire, is in there at the tailback position right now. And Borchard keeps it, throws it into the end zone, and throws it away. Russell Stewart was back in the back of the end zone, but Borchard couldn't see him because there was a man defending against him, and he threw it away.
We got a flag in the end zone, too, Keith.
Might be
Doring may be holding. This is against Notre Dame. Watch as Borchard comes out here. There's no help, but there is also nobody from Notre Dame. Very easy touchdown for Joe Borchard.
Here's the call on the flag in the end zone.
Holding on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Holding on the defense, automatic first down, and that'll put the ball about 1.5 yards away from the Wisconsin goal line.
And Keith, it was Jason Doring holding Russell Stewart. Watch him right here. He's trying to get to the corner of the end zone, number 84. There's the grab by Doring. Borchard with a heady job of throwing it out of the back of the end zone, getting the flag.
Borchard keeps it, turns inside. Close. No call. Godorsey there to get him. It's at the 1. Second down and goal.
I think Borchard made up his mind a little bit too early there, but you really can't blame him when the ball is so close to the goal line. But if he's a little bit more patient on that option and pitches the ball back, Stanford has an easy touchdown.
Husak threading on the sidelines. Second down and goal. Borchard to the fullback, and that won't get it. That's right down at the line of scrimmage. Casey Moore never really had a chance to move the stack. Somebody came low and locked him early.
That's one of those misdirection plays that Stanford thought that they could be successful with against Wisconsin. But again, every time they give the ball to the running back, just a single running back with no blocker in front of them, they have gotten absolutely nothing.
They got Kerry Carter in there now. He's the bigger of the backs. He's the freshman. And it's third down and goal from the 1. Carter. He made it. Touchdown, Stanford. He bounced off the first hit by Thompson and slid into the end zone.
And he had a lead blocker in front of him. And I think that, along with that big size you talked about, Keith, is why he gets into the end zone. Casey Moore is in front of him. Number 33 watches a hit off the right side. Good kick out block there. There's the block by Moore. There's the touchdown.
Baselli for the point. Snapping troubles. Mike McLaughlin, John Sandy, who is the snapper on circumstances like this, the points and field goals. Anthony Gabriel playing in his relief. And that's the second time Gabriel has had a bad snap. Here's another look at the touchdown as we go to break. 2:03 to play in the first half. Stanford leads it 9-3. And on the first down snap, Bollinger runs away from the pressure, trying to get to the outside. Got one good block, and now he gets to the sidelines. He's going to pick up about 5 or 6 yards. Ron Dayne was the man that threw the block. That kept him from being dropped well back of the line of scrimmage. I would think that the boys have probably seen a few distractions in New Orleans.
Around the New Year's, especially this New Year's.
Yes. The opportunity is certainly there. Second down and 3. Passes to the sidelines and good to Chris Chambers for a first down. 1 minute and 42 seconds as he goes out of bounds to stop the clock remaining in the first half of play.
One thing Stanford defensively is doing during this drive, they've moved Willie Howard back inside as a tackle and made Real Johnson a defensive end, so they're getting more speed. Johnson had 17 tackles for a loss this year, including 13 sacks.
I think it's amazing the way Willie Howard's playing. I cannot believe he's out there with a torn ACL. There he is.
Yep.
On first down, Bollinger. Lee's after him. Runs away from him and throws. It's out of bounds. That pass was out of bounds. Nick Davis was the intended receiver, and Nick had his hands on it. Primus was right there with him, but even if he'd caught it, it wouldn't have counted.
And you know, it was dangerously close to Coach Barry Alvarez on the sidelines.
Yep.
Here's Barry right here.
It's
Remember,
scary.
he's got a cane there, and he does not have the ability to get out of the way. You can see how wrapped up that right knee is, but there's nothing wrong with his vocal cords.
Well, there's some feeling he made the catch, I think. That's what Barry said.
Can't yell like that from the press box.
He's feisty, boy. Second down and 10. Going big down the middle. It's incomplete, intended for Davis. Davis had double coverage that time. Running with him was Primus and Tank Williams. Barry Alvarez played for Bob Devaney at Nebraska and started his coaching career in Nebraska. And to this day talks so fondly of Bob Devaney, not only as a man and a coach, but of the philosophy. And a lot of Devaney's philosophy is in this Wisconsin program.
Wanted to do just like Devaney did, build a program and sustain it. He says we are in the sustain mode now.
I should say 3 Rose Bowls in a decade. Bollinger back, looking deep, going deep down the sidelines, and Chambers can't track it down. Now you've got 1 minute and 23 to play in the first half, and it's 4th down. So the Badgers trying to make something happen with a long ball. Doesn't work, and they'll punt.
Keith, and now this is where Stanford's very dangerous with their passing game and with Troy Walters in the game. They've got all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and they should get decent field position.
Durrani Pitts is waiting for Stemsky's punt. Stemsky can kill it sometimes, so let's see here. Well, Pitts will take a shot at it. He runs right into a Wisconsin man at the 30, falls forward to the 31. Bose making the tackle. And there, Stanford will go to work.
Keith, you were amazed at Willie Howard playing. This is equally as amazing. Troy Walters in the first half showing no ill effects of that dislocated right wrist. And this one got him down in great field position where they took it in for the touchdown.
Dave Davis is in there now, number 81 as a wideout. Eddie Gales, number 21, is on the field. He's another speed burner. And they go out of the shotgun. Usak's pass thrown quickly to Dave Davis. Davis can do things with the ball after he catches it, but he was pushed out of bounds there by Bose. And a moment with Todd Harris.
Well, Keith, Dave Davis may be the master of T-shirts. You know, he's the guy that started up the 1T plus 1G equals 1B. That's 1 team plus 1 goal equals 1 bowl. Well, his latest one, on the front of the shirt, it says, they picked us to finish 8th in the Pac-10. Do you believe that? We didn't. Some of the guys in the Speed Corps are wearing those shirts today.
Another entrepreneur from Stanford. Second down and 7. A lot of those guys around, I'll tell you. That's good for a first down and then some. Durrani Pitts. And Pitts will take him down to about the 41-42 yard line. And a penalty flag was thrown back around the 30-yard line. So let's see about that. All that excitement might be for naught. Holding on the offense. You've got 56 seconds left to play in the first half now. Stanford leading Wisconsin by a score of 9-3. That negated, according to Marcamento, 24-yard pickup. Kelly Hayes has come down off the mountain to spend a New Year's Day with us.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat second down.
It was, some of the people who went to the Rose Parade this morning, Dan, said it was cold.
Well, as I was driving back from your house last night after a wonderful dinner, there were people camped out here. Here's the hold right here by Jeff Kronshagen. That allowed Usak to get this ball off and negates a big play. But again, it's that running ability after the catch.
Yep. They do it well. Second down and 17 now. Usak turns and hands the ball away, and there's a further loss on the play as Eddie Gales had no chance. Wendell Bryant just ate him up.
And even with the timeout, Stanford, after that penalty, they're going to just take this one to the house and go in at halftime happy to be up with a 6-point lead over the heavily favored Badgers. Now Wisconsin says they want timeout. They want to get a shot and getting the ball back.
Well, they've got Nick Davis, who's one of the best kick return guys in the country. I don't blame him. I would too. 16 seconds remains to play. And, holding on to his chain. What do you call them? The trench dogs. Stanford was here in 1972, 71, 72. They had the Thunder Chickens. Today they got a dancing tree. 21-yard line, third down and 20. 16 ticks remaining on the clock. They'll take this snap. Try to run it out. There's a penalty flag down as Kerry Carter runs into Wendell Bryant. And he gets out to about the 25-yard line. And Wisconsin jumps all over it again to stop the clock. Now they've got 11 seconds. And they'll have to punt it.
Willie Bryant saying, or Wendell Bryant rather, saying, I was offside,
yep.
Coach.
Taking the blame. Offsides at the 5-yard penalty.
By the defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
That could mean, I don't believe, though, in my wildest imagination, that Stanford will put the ball in the air. But if they could break a run here of some substance, it would effectively kill the clock. And they're not going to have to because the clock continues to run, and it's over. The half is over, and Stanford leads Wisconsin by a score of 9-3 after the first half of play. Now let's go to John and Terry, New Orleans, for the National Cup. It'll go 3 yards deep in the end zone. Davis will put it down. First down, Wisconsin at the 20. A look at some of the highlights from the first half.
Well, let's take a look at Ron Dayne's one big run. This is a 20-yarder, and this led to a Wisconsin field goal. There are only 3 points of the first half. Stanford got good field position on a catch by Troy Walters down the 1-yard line. Then Kerry Carter powers it in. And this may be the most important play of the first half. A bad snap by Anthony Gabriel, and Stanford does not convert the touchdown.
That's why it's 9-3. A touchdown by Wisconsin. They can take the lead. So missed extra points can be a load. Here comes the second half now with Ron Dayne. That's a 5-yard pickup on his first carry from the 20 to the 25.
Take a look at our Nokia game summary. You can see that Todd Husak has been most of the offense provider for the Cardinal. Troy Walters, each of those 3 receptions, all for first downs, and you can see that the 3 points for Wisconsin, the lowest first half point total this season.
The offensive front for Wisconsin: McIntosh, Ferrario, Robach, Costa, Tauscher, and Retzlaff, the tight end. Bollinger gives the ball to Dayne. Up the middle he goes. He's loose. You do not want him in your secondary. They finally track him down and bring him down just short of the 10-yard line. Frank Primus ran him down, but it's first down Wisconsin at the Stanford 11-yard line.
Stanford shifts their defense to the strong side, and Wisconsin at halftime made the adjustment that when Stanford shifts strong, we're going to come back weak side. Here goes Kuhn back to the weak side. He's going to lead up inside, but this is Ron Dayne at his very best, making tacklers miss, finding his blocking, and then almost outrunning the secondary for the touchdown. But as it is, a huge play for Wisconsin.
64 yards and first down Badgers at the Stanford 11-yard line. Kuhn, the fullback, gets a carry. 5-4. He picked up 7 yards on that carry. Well, Chad didn't get that many. When you get it tucked in there, boy, he's excited.
And he's a dangerous pass receiver out of the backfield. 11 catches and 2 touchdown receptions. But you know what, Keith? He averages 6 yards per carry.
Yeah, he does.
As well as Ron Dayne. I would have loved to have been in that locker room at halftime to hear Barry Alvarez.
They'll have to repaint it tomorrow. Second down, 3 from the 4. 25-second clock ticking along, and Dayne going to the outside to the corner. Touchdown, Badgers. Demetrius Brown threw a huge block to get him on the corner. So Wisconsin comes out steaming with the big guy, breaking a 64-yard run and then scores.
And Wisconsin football on the ground. There's the block by Kuhn on Tim Smith, and high-stepping into the end zone is Ron Dayne. Boy, that was easy for Wisconsin. 4 plays, and they're in the end zone. Something they couldn't do in the first half.
Kozetsky for the point. Good. And Wisconsin goes to the lead for the first time today, 10-9. And we're just started the second half of play. Now Eric Mullick, fighting through the traffic, drops him for a loss.
Well, Stanford tried to counter that great drive with a trick play on the kickoff return. That didn't get them as much as they thought they would get, and now on their first down play, just feeding right into the Badger defense with that very slow developing misdirection.
Davis and Pitts come to the lower side of the picture. They've got 4 wideouts out there right now on second down and 15. Husak's pass to the sidelines is good. And almost getting away is Tafiti Uso, who had just come into the ball game, and he's hurt.
He really was tackled and fell down awkwardly. And it looks like it might be a left knee or a left ankle. But he came very, very close to breaking it all the way. And that's the one thing about these Stanford receivers. This is Uso. But we've seen Walters and Pitts and Davis. Husak finds him in the dead zone right there between the safety and the corner. And there is the injury as Fletcher just barely hangs on.
I'll tell you what, he outruns Doring. If he doesn't get tangled up with Fletcher, he probably scores.
No question.
Well, too bad. Stanford's had the injured bug. But it's a first down up at the 49-yard line. This pass is thrown beyond the reach of Durrani Pitts to the near sideline.
And that was really the first bad pass for Todd Husak as we look at the Tostitos player comparison for the quarterback. The interesting thing for Brooks Bollinger, all three of these completions to one man, Chris Chambers.
You know what Ron Dayne does not have? He does not have touchdown receiving.
He only had one catch all year long. 31 in his four-year career.
In his career, he's never scored a touchdown catching the ball.
He probably won't.
Ryan Allen's having a hard time. He just can't get on track. The Stanford ground game is just simply hasn't done anything. Bobby Myers, who was one of those guys that stepped up this year to fill that strong safety spot. He got tangled up with Allen, and he would not turn him loose.
That was a bulldogging tackle there, Keith, wasn't it? I mean, all he didn't have, and now another injury for Stanford as Allen limps off the field. The only thing that Bobby Myers didn't have there was a little rope to tie the three legs together.
Give that cowboy a hand. Third down and 12. Coy Wire is in the backfield. And you've got your three wideouts in there now. Todd Husak looking at the Wisconsin defense and listening to that other color, Big Red down there, making all the noise. Calls time to talk. The locker room for the second half, red hot. They got 8 people in the box. Husak back, has time, passes away, overthrows Durrani Pitts. He had him. Pitts was a good 4 yards clear of the nearest defender, and Husak missed him in the face of the pressure.
Yeah, exactly right, Keith. Watch the pressure right up the middle here. They're trying to get in Husak's face. When you do this to a quarterback, he doesn't step up into his pass. What he does is he throws off balance, and that's the result, a high pass, and that would have been a touchdown for Stanford.
Anthony Gabriel's snap this time is all right. Tolkenrood's kick, pretty good. Fair catch called by Davis, and the Wisconsin Badgers will go to work around the 13-yard line. We join Todd Harris.
Thank you, Keith. It's amazing how fortunes change after a 64-yard run by Ron Dayne. As Coach Willingham was walking off the field, he said he was very happy with his team's performance. In particular, Coach Kemp Bear's defensive scheme. He said, we won one half, we've got to win another. Coach Alvarez, believe me, he laid into his team. He said, no more sloppy play. I said, what's the problem? He said, we have no rhythm whatsoever. But again, Ron Dayne can change that rather quickly. Back to you.
Already has. 13-yard line, first down. Dayne. Number 77, Willie Howard, has a hold of him. He picked up 2 yards. You cannot let 255 pounds of elusive fury get loose in your secondary, because he'll just run over him.
Every time that Stanford's been able to stop him, they've been able to get penetration, and that's what Willie Howard does so well. 19 times this year, he's made tackles in the enemy backfield. You got to do it against Dayne.
Bollinger to throw it. Sideline pattern is good. And it'll be a first down for Wisconsin. So now they get some daylight behind them.
And Stanford's got to realize, Keith, that Bollinger's completed 4 passes today, and all 4 have been a number 88, Chris Chambers. So why don't you put 2 men on number 88?
I would certainly be tempted. But Davis he's dangerous too. This time, you can see what happens though when Dayne can get a shoulder into you. He can ride you for 3, 4, 5 yards. There isn't much you can do about it.
And it appeared that time that when the handoff between Bollinger and Dayne happened, they might have got their feet tangled up just a little bit, because Dayne was stumbling as he reached the line of scrimmage and still managed to pick up 2.5, 3 yards. But Stanford has got to have an answer for their rushing game, or they're going to be blown out of this second half.
Second down, call it 8. Carlos Daniels is in the lineup. He's the single back. Brings it back to throw it, goes to the sidelines, and it's too high. Intended for Davis. You said that Bollinger and Dayne got tangled up. Well, let Bollinger tell you the story of what happens when Dayne ran into him in the Northwestern game.
It wasn't a matter of anyone going the wrong way, but I think, you know, he saw the hole a little tight, and I was trying to get out of the way of the fullback, whatever, and he was already kind of breaking at the hole, and we ran smack into each other, and you know, luckily he still got the handoff, but I had to shake my head a couple times and get my sense back after that one.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yes, I can.
10-9, Wisconsin leading. Third down and 8. Bollinger back. Chased out. Sacked. The first contact, Sharkus Steen. Man, it put him on his back. Real Johnson. Wisconsin will punt.
And officially, that's the first sack of the day for Stanford. They came into the game with 46 sacks on the year, but that's a huge one on third down to be able to come up with a play like this. Initially, the protection is pretty good, but you see the safety blitz there by number 13, Tank Williams. There's the Shark. Sharkus Steen getting help from Real Johnson.
Stepke's punt is away. Good one. High hanger. And Ronnie Pitts has to make a fair catch call on it. And he does it at the 32-yard line, where the Cardinal will have it. First down. Wisconsin leads 10-9. A good effort the last time. Husak back. Gets it away. And it's good. Dave Davis, who's a good leaper. He went high in the air in front of Mike Eccles and reeled it in. And it's first down at the 45-yard line of Wisconsin.
Back on Tuesday when we talked to Todd Husak, he said one of our players, or a couple of them, especially the receivers, are going to have to step up. Well, you just saw an example of what he means by stepping up. You hear that term a lot, but this is what it's all about right here. Ball on the way between two defenders. Big play.
45-yard line. Troy Wired, as the deep back, gets the ball. Found a little bit of daylight. And then he ran into that tree trunk named Godorsey.
A lot of people run into Godorsey.
Sure do, don't they?
Made over 100 tackles this year. And the one guy that Barry Alvarez told me he's going to miss more than anybody besides perhaps Ron Dayne. He said, if I could clone one player and fill out an entire defensive unit, it would be a player such as Chris Godorsey.
Gain was about a half a yard on that play. It'll be second down and 9. Play action. Husak buys time and goes deep, and there's nobody home. Troy Walters is shouting at the official that they were holding me. And he gets no sympathy.
That was just great coverage by number 2, and Jamar knows it. Man-to-man coverage on the outside with Troy Walters. This is just beautiful coverage.
He's holding him by the coattail right there.
He got away with it, too, and now he's got maybe more speed than Walters. Husak saw that, threw the ball away. But he held away from the official. The official never saw that right hand on the back of Troy Walters.
So it's third down and almost 10. Gets it in there. Look out. Here it goes. Down the middle of the field. It's to the 5-yard line. They'll give him the 6. Ronnie Pitts, brought down by Jason Doring.
Keith, the last time Stanford had the ball, Wisconsin came on the blitz, forced the overthrow. So Bill Diedrich, offensive coordinator's adjustment is to throw the jailbreak screen against that blitz. great block by Troy Walters will spring this. Number 5 is Walters. He gets Fletcher out of the way, and now quashes down the field, and now Pitts is going to take it all the way to the 6-yard line. Great adjustment by Stanford on offense.
First and goal at the 6. Usack stands up and throws into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Trying to put air under it for Davis. Davis was defended by Eccles.
And Eccles had his hands all over Davis.
Yep, he did.
But the ball was thrown so far out of the back of the end zone, no way it could be complete. There's a grab right there. Stanford fans see that on the big replay board, and that's what you're hearing.
Second down and goal. Wire goes out, and Kerry Carter comes into the backfield for the Cardinal. Tyrone Willingham from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Ball is handed off to the big back, and the Stanford ground game has just not worked at all today. Donnell Thompson, who used to sell soft drinks at Camp Randall Stadium, made the tackle. Donnell twisted an ankle earlier in practice, but he's another one who's made a quick recovery.
Something about playing on New Year's Day and playing in the Rose Bowl will do that to you. Get you healthy in a hurry.
Coy Wire comes back. Now Davis leaves the game. Troy Walters and Durrani Pitts will go to the top of the picture. And it's third and goal. Usack rolls out. Throw. Incomplete. And so the Wisconsin defense turns them away. Jamar Fletcher denied Walters any opportunity to catch the ball. And here comes Baselli in now to put Stanford back into the lead.
You know, in the first half, Fletcher was beaten a couple of times by Walters, but second half it's been all Jamar Fletcher as he just looks right into the receiver's eyes and anticipates the move.
Guess what? John Sandy has healed himself. He's back in to snap. The regular snapper. Usack, the quarterback, holds it. Oh, bad snap. Got off to the side. It's blocked. So Stanford squanders a glorious opportunity. Having it first and goal at the Wisconsin 6-yard line, the Badgers rise up and turn them away. And the score remains Wisconsin 10, Stanford 9, 5:24 to play in the third quarter. For all the details this Monday night, but remember this, you got to watch to win. The ball will be possessed by Wisconsin at their own 9-yard line after blocking the Stanford field goal try. And here come the Cardinals. Stanford shows split. And you got an offensive lineman moving on the right side of the line for Wisconsin, I do believe.
Uncharacteristic for Wisconsin to have this many
Prior
penalties.
to the snap, false start, offense, penalty is half the distance to the goal, still first down.
It's their 6th penalty of the afternoon. They come into the game averaging about 5. But here's another bad snap for Stanford. Bad snaps on placement kicks today have cost Stanford 4 points and obviously the lead.
The man who blocked that field goal try was Mike Eccles, cornerback. Oh, they go inside the 5, turn around and give it to that 18-wheeler, and he gets it back out to the 9. Ron Dayne listed at 252. I saw him eating that cake yesterday.
He had a long time off. He hit that rubber chicken circuit too, didn't he?
Yeah, I got the biggest kick out of him. He said, was kind of complaining. He said he couldn't wait to get away, and in New York City was nice and all that, but he couldn't wait to get back to practice. He said, you know, you get tired. You got to walk around. You got to smile all the time.
It'd be nice to be.
Get cramp in the cheeks. Look out. Look out. Oh, boy, he almost popped out of there. He got it out to the 15-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd down and about 4 before Tank Williams could wrap his legs. Well, you've got Sean Alexander and the Crimson Tide, and you've got Anthony Thomas and the Michigan Wolverines. It's two teams that love to run the football. They love to play great defense. They're in the FedEx Orange Bowl tonight, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Part of Super January on ABC, home of the Bowl Championship Series. I don't know if I can outshout all that music or not. 3rd down and 4. And play clock. They have to call a timeout. They have to call the time. So they do it at 3:57 to play in the 3rd quarter, still leading by a point. North Dakota asked what was the call, explained it to him, nodded his head, and goes back to work. On the throw, same play, same result. Chris Chambers. How many is that? He's completed 5 passes to Chambers. Wow.
And this is a, you know, 3rd down and short yardage when you think you might want to put a double team on one of the receivers and maybe the only guy that he's throwing the ball to. Chambers beats Chris Johnson there, the nickelback, for an easy 3rd down conversion.
And it's 1st down Badgers just beyond the 30. Dayne. Fullback Hughes gets a little bit of a wedge for him, and Steen brings down Dayne. Ron picks up about 3 yards. Aerial coverage for today's show brought to you by AT&T, proud presenting sponsor of the 2000 Rose Bowl game. That's the vision from up there. We haven't really seen a lot of sun today. We had rain most of yesterday. And last night, I had a helicopter in here today trying to blow the grass dry. It's a new turf, and it's held up very well. Bollinger option, pitch it back behind Dayne. He was able to control it. That may be the first time or second time all year that he's pitched it back. Most of the time he keeps it.
Stanford got murdered by the option against Washington when Marcus Tuiasosopo rushed for 207 yards, passed for 302 for a 500-yard day. But he ran the ball most of it. Bollinger usually runs it for Wisconsin on the option, but Stanford played it perfectly and forced the young quarterback into a bad pitch.
And now it's 3rd down. I know it says 6, but I'll guarantee you it's 7 if it's an inch. Bollinger looked like he wanted to take off on a quarterback draw. Now he's trying to outrun everybody, and he can't do it. There's a penalty flag on the field as they bring him down right about the line of scrimmage. Mark Stockbauer tracked him down, number 90.
Stanford's defensive game plan has been almost perfect this afternoon. They have contained Bollinger. Haven't quite contained Ron Dayne, but who does? Kent Bear, the defensive coordinator there with the glasses.
They got Chris McIntosh for holding on that call. Sorry, Chris. I'll tell you what, both these teams, so.
Holding on the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Show off some young people that are just really striking. They really are.
They're well coached. Both teams are well coached, but the kids help out a lot. I mean, they're intelligent. They do what they're told. They're well spoken, and a real pleasure to be around.
Refusing the penalty brings up 4th down. Snipke hits a high rainbow, and And look at Durrani Fitz. He did not call the fair catch. He felt he might be able to split the people covering, and as a result, I think Bose penetrated that 2-yard contain area and didn't give him the fair chance. And there he is.
And if you're going to get in that 2-yard zone, you might as well get your money's worth and take a good shot. He just went down around the ankle there. Let's take a look at our AT&T action highlight. When's the last time a center snap was anybody's highlight? But we've got 2 of them for you. This one from Anthony Gabriel. That cost him a conversion after a touchdown. This one by John Sandy. That cost him a 3-point field goal as Mike Eccles gets the block. The AT&T action highlight, 2 snaps for the price of 1.
With 1:36 to go in the 3rd quarter, a 10-9 lead for Wisconsin. Stanford ball their own 30. Husak gives it away inside. Nothing. Troy Wire. Just about the line of scrimmage.
You get the feeling they're trying to set something up.
Yeah,
with
you do.
That's 3 times today now that they have brought Walters on the fake reverse and handed it to the up back who's got stuffed at the line of scrimmage and lost yardage.
Stanford has run the ball 15 times and gained 23 yards. I was wondering, I asked Mark Ameno if they'd gained any.
Yeah.
The answer is 23.
That's not much.
2nd down 11. Husak looking. Has good protection. Puts air under the ball to the sideline. It's intercepted. Bobby Myers, interception. Pass intended for Troy Walters, and Myers just shut him off. Never gave him a chance.
And a discussion as to whether Myers came down inbounds or not is taking place there right in front of Dave Tipton, defensive line coach there on the left in the Stanford Cardinal. And now they're saying no catch.
You know what? I love to see that, though. I mean, that one official was looking up the sideline, and he knew he didn't come down inside, and he held his ground and said no. Of course, it doesn't make Barry happy, but
he's 53 yards away from it.
He's out.
Oh, I don't know, Keith. Let's see what hits first. Is it his knee? Is it his shoulder? It's his shoulder.
Shoulder.
Whoa, that is a tough call, but a good job by the officials getting together. What a catch.
Terrific play. But his shoulder and top of him came down out of bounds.
Either that was an offensive receiver making that catch, I'd be arguing that was a good catch.
I tell you right now, Barry doesn't have a sore knee at this moment. Look at him. He's hot. So it'll be 3rd down 11 as the ball comes back. Swing it out to the outside. Pass completed to Coy Wire. Wire's tracked down by the Badger defense in a hurry. Well short of the 1st down, and Stanford will have to punt. Jamar Fletcher and Jason Doring were the records on that play for the Badgers.
Remember the last time Stanford faced a 3rd down and long, they hit the jailbreak screen against the blitz of Wisconsin. That time Kevin Cosgrove, their defensive coordinator, decided to play zone and let that fine tackling secondary led by Fletcher do the job.
Well, let's see if it's Nick Davis time here as Tolpenrud gets a good snap from Gabriel back in there and hits a low line drive. There's room. There's one. Oh, boy, that's good coverage downfield. Tim Smith, strong safety.
Keith, you know that is 6 punts now for Davis to try to return. And we talked about the fact that he averages almost 14 yards per return on the season, but only 1 time has he been able to bring the ball back, and that's for 3 yards. So Stanford and Tolpenrud have done a great job of taking that weapon away from the Badgers.
4 ticks remaining on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Carlos Daniels, single back. Running to the left. Going down in the arms of Stockbauer. So 10-9, Wisconsin leads after 3 quarters of play in the 86 Rose Bowl presented by AT&T, and we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC station. 75 yards. He looks to be the key man here. So Bollinger keeps that one and turns it upfield for a nice gain on 2nd down and 10.
You know, somebody else was inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame yesterday, along with Al Hoysh and Dave Kaiser.
People out in the audience that I would
Al, Dave, and my boss. Congratulations, partner.
Thank you, man. Well, of course, you went in the NFL Hall of Fame. 1993, right?
Yeah, but I'm Mr. Never Been to the Big One. I never played in the Super Bowl or this great bowl game either.
Yeah, but you were hell on wheels for the Oregon Ducks. I know that.
And winners of the Sun Bowl yesterday over Minnesota. Go Ducks!
Only Pac-10 team so far to win, isn't it?
Yep.
3rd down and a little more than 5 as Bollinger runs out of trouble and will pick up a 1st down and then some. He's near midfield. 1st down for the Wisconsin Badgers. So the redshirt freshman starting to make some plays now. Sharkestein on the tackle.
You know, Bollinger, they say he's a 4.7 40 guy, but he's one of those athletes that plays faster than he times maybe on a track here. Good recognition there as Dayne gets another nice block, and Sharkestein can barely get out there for his 11th tackle of the afternoon.
Well, there's that old argument of there's speed and there's football speed.
Yep, he's got football speed. Yep.
So from midfield, 1st down, drop back, looks to throw. Can't set his foot, can't find anybody. Now he's going to run around the crowd. Willie Howard's after him, and the penalty flag goes down. Another one on the sideline. So you got 2 flags. Stockbauer and come flying through there, and probably hit him a little late.
And
but
before that, Keith, I think they're going to get Wisconsin for holding. First flag thrown by our referee, Dennis Hennigan.
I think these people have done a pretty good job, don't you?
Yeah, and a real good example there is you saw Bruce Palmer, the umpire, come over and talk and settle down the Wisconsin sideline there.
2 penalties during the play, holding on the offense. After the play was over, personal foul on the defense.
Tyrone Willingham is so stoic. He just, Barry on the other side is thundering away. Here's the hold.
And it's your boy, Chris McIntosh, number 75, working on Willie Howard. And as Bollinger gets to the outside, we can't quite see the hold there, but Howard, with great effort, there's the cheap shot by Stockbauer. It's a cheap shot because he knew that Bollinger was heading sideways, going out of bounds. No need to hit the quarterback, and no need to hit him that late.
Oh, that's a quarterback talking, folks.
Who's been hit one too many times.
Yeah. I can't hear the referee.
The personal foul will be assessed because it happened after the play. So they go from the line of scrimmage and mark it off, and the Wisconsin fans love it.
They feel they got something out of it anyway, huh?
If not a bruise for their young quarterback.
That's right. It's down to the 46-yard line. Time remaining in the football game, 13:55, and right now I'm beginning to get the feeling that Wisconsin is beginning to win along the line of scrimmage.
And they're winning the game, the battle for field position too. Right now they're in Stanford territory, and you look at the Cardinal on defense, a lot of them standing there with their hands on their hips, and that's a sure sign of fatigue.
That was a 10-yard penalty on Wisconsin, a 15-yard penalty on Stanford, so it's 1st and 10, and handed off to the big man, and Dayne runs into a huge pile. The national championship, the Seminoles of Florida State and the Virginia Tech will be added in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans on January 4. Number 1 Florida State, number 2 Virginia Tech, the Nokia Sugar Bowl, and the Sears Trophy to be presented to the winner of the Nokia Sugar Bowl in this year's national championship game. On 2nd down and 8, Bollinger thrown down for a huge loss by Real Johnson. The loss is all the way back to the 42-yard line.
Kent Barron's got to love that. First sack of the afternoon for Real Johnson. Had 19 on the season. This one is absolutely huge because now Wisconsin will face a 3rd down and a mile for the first. And the battle of field position now goes in Stanford's favor.
Well, they're calling it 3rd down and 22. They run the big buy. He bounces outside and gets some of it back. He moves the football back to the 50-yard line where it was a little while ago. And it'll be 4th down for Wisconsin. This guy, number 10 right there, Tim Smith, has gotten very much involved in things around the line of scrimmage of late.
And he had to battle the flu earlier in the week. But ex-quarterback showing his toughness now as a strong safety and a big playmaker. 6 interceptions this season.
Stemke in the punt. That's Durrani Pitts waiting for it. It's a high hanger. And a fair catch called by Pitts just short of the 20-yard line. So it'll be Stanford ball. 1st down at its own 19. Time remaining in the game, 11:43. Wisconsin by 1. Just settling down on the 86th playing of the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T, and we've still got ourselves a cracking good football game. Stanford owns it 1st down at his own 19-yard line. Wisconsin leading 10-9. Offensives have not been able to get on Frank much. Dayne's had one big run of 64 yards, and Husak is hit as he throws. The ball is short and complete. Here's Todd Harris with a special guest.
Special indeed, Keith. Thank you very much. He's a Stanford alum, a Heisman Trophy winner, and he won here at the Rose Bowl. Jim, I got to ask you, it's been a long time since Stanford won this, but this would be a good time to do it.
Oh, it certainly is, and they're playing extremely well. I don't think anybody expected it to be as close as it is, and Stanford has every opportunity to win this ball game right now.
This has got to be a position where quarterbacks love to come in. What do you think Todd Husak's thinking right about now?
Oh, get the ball to his wide receivers, let them make the big plays.
What do you think about Stanford's chances as they drive down with Troy Walters in the game?
I think it's great that he's been able to play and contribute and not just be out there for the heck of it. So, you know, it gives Stanford another dimension with Troy in there.
Best of luck to you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right, gotcha.
Jim Plunkett, good guy.
Yeah, boy, I saw him way too many times from the opposite sideline, starting in 1970 when he came up to Eugene and beat our Ducks and went on to do all those great things in his career, including a couple of Super Bowl wins with those Raiders.
Well, you could tell when he first showed up, though, he was going to be something special. He had great poise and work ethic.
Yeah, he was a man playing among boys.
Yep. 3rd down now and 10 for Stanford. Wisconsin backs out. The linebackers drop. Pressure, down he goes. Terrific play by Ben Herbert. Number 42 came flying through and made the tackle.
He's only made one other sack all year long, but here he is, 42, working against Greg Schindler there. Overpowers Schindler and easily takes down the quarterback.
This time the punt has to come out of the end zone. Tolpenrud with a snap, gets it out. Wisconsin's going to get real good field position here. It's going to be right about the 40-yard line on the Stanford side of the field. Advantage hugely here for Wisconsin. Timeout.
Driving. Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. We measure success one investor at a time. And Sears and the Sears National Champion Football Trophy.
Wisconsin will enjoy great field position, and this is the story of the game so far. Morgan Stanley Dean Witter game stats. Stanford doing nothing on the ground. Wisconsin playing Wisconsin football.
Ron Dayne. He's going to have 6 yards on that carry and put it at the 34-yard line. This is the best starting point of a possession for Wisconsin in the ball game. Our attendance at the 86 Rose Bowl game, 93,731. I know that you generally are accustomed to hearing crowds of 100 plus. Well, it's a little smaller than it used to be. When the 84 Olympics were here, they reduced the size of it some. They had the soccer here as part of the Olympics. This is Dayne again. Number 90, the penetration by Stockbauer. He couldn't quite hold him. He's still short of his first down, however, by about 1.5 yards or 2.
When you watch Ron Dayne, you really realize that for a running back that there's such a fine line between patience and hesitation. But he has learned the difference when you combine his size and his speed. But what I like is the way he anticipates the running lane, lets his offensive linemen do their job, and then he makes the big play.
Very patient.
Yep.
3rd and 2. Oh, is this a substantial play? Dayne didn't get it. Tim Smith and Mark Stockbauer. The 2 of them brought him down.
And Kent Baer told us that the overload to the left with the linebackers and Tim Smith coming up. Watch as the motion comes. Stanford will move to the left side, anticipating the tendency of Wisconsin to run strong. Well, right there is Tim Smith and Stockbauer reading their keys and making the plays. And now a 4th down.
4th and 2, and they'll go. It's beyond field goal reach.
Better hurry.
And they got to call timeout. 8 minutes and 48 seconds to play in the ball game. And we have a moment of tedium waiting after this timeout. Presented by AT&T, and the AT&T presenting sponsor is providing the aerial views for this 2000 Rose Bowl game. Here comes 4th and 2. Throws it out. Throws the ball. It's caught. Almost dropped by John Sigmund, the tight end. He bobbled it and took it to the ground and made the catch. Wow.
And because it's his first catch of the year, he decided he's going to catch it twice. The bootleg here by Bollinger. Sharkestein is going to put the pressure on him, but from the left side of the screen there, you see Sigmund put his hand up. There's one catch. Oh, he caught it 3. Give him 3 receptions on the year. That was certainly worth it for the coach.
Indeed. Huge play.
You talk about breaking tendency, throwing the ball to a guy that hasn't caught one in 11 games.
First down for the Badgers. Bollinger back. Wanted to go deep. Throws now. The pass is complete to Sigmund. He's got all that confidence. He dives for the goal line. And they don't give him the touchdown. My goodness. John Sigmund suddenly shows up. Big guy from Sewell, New Jersey. He had 6 receptions coming into the game.
He's the littler of the 2 big tight ends at 6'6", 272. He's a junior, and he doesn't quite got that part of the game figured out yet. But 2 plays in a row, and Wisconsin's in business at the 3.
First and goal for the Badgers. A 10-9 lead with 8:12 to play in the ball game. Boy, this would be a big one. Here comes the hammer. Out at the 1. You know, we talked a lot about the big old thumper back. Well, we got the prototype here. I mean, if you want to know what a thumper looks like, he's on the field, number 33.
I may have to get you to come up with a new name, though, because he's in a class by himself.
Yes,
obviously, the Heisman Trophy, the all-time leading collegiate rusher. He may be a thumper and a half.
He's been running downhill ever since he decided to play the game. Second down and goal from the 1. he was going to break it. Then he got pushed back. Smith again involved with Tank Williams. It's right at the goal line. Third down.
I don't know what was more impressive on this play. Stanford's initial stop of Dayne, where he actually went backwards, but then he got his legs under him again and almost got the ball in the end zone.
Third and goal. Bollinger. Touchdown. Pretty good fight down along the trenches, but he's got his 6. Get used to the name, folks. In the Big Ten, especially, it's Bollinger. Kozetzky for the point. Kim Rosga holds for Wisconsin. The kick is away and good. And so Stanford will get the ball back at 7:22 to play in the game, but now Wisconsin leads them 17-9. That's and more while you watch the game. Log on to ESPN.com or ABC.com on Tuesday, January 4, the BCS National Championship game. Virginia Tech and Florida State. Kozetzky's kick. Good one. Down to the 3. It's Ryan Wells. He lost his wheels at about the 18-yard line. As old Ben Herbert making another big play. So you got John Sigmund and Ben Herbert that have suddenly shown up big time.
And what has not shown up big time or even little time for Stanford is their rushing attack. They were so proud of the fact that coming into the season they had improved so much over last year. 154 yards per game, only 4 today.
Let's make it the 19-yard line, and first down Stanford with 7:13 to play. Walters is the man in motion. They run it. That's not much there, is there? Kerry Carter.
The one thing Wisconsin's been able to do in the second half is to take Troy Walters out of the game. A combination of good tight coverage by Jamar Fletcher and zone defenses. 0 catches here in the second half.
He's out there wide with Fletcher. There they are. Pressure coming. Husack's in trouble. Now he gets a little daylight and throws the ball behind the intended receiver.
We saw Casey Moore. Yeah, Casey made a great catch in the first half. That ball was thrown a little bit behind him that time by Husack. And again, Husack had his feet tangled up a little bit, was a little bit slow getting out of his fake. But at this point of the game, receivers have to do unusual things. The offensive line has to block longer. The quarterback's got to throw better. And receivers have got to make those nearly impossible catches.
See the time remaining. 6:31. That's not a whole lot in college football. Stanford, however, has been pretty good on the 2-minute offense. But Wisconsin now is just breathing fire. They're all over. Oh, just eating them up. Wendell Bryant, the man who destroyed that. And Husack had to get rid of the ball or take a sack.
Bryant showed such good speed there that Husack wanted to throw a screen pass. But Bryant and Favre were in on him so fast that there was no time for the screen to develop.
So they'll punt it away on a 3-and-out. And Nick Davis is waiting. Got to hold your breath when he's back there. If he has room, that ball won't get to him, and it'll go straight sideways and finally be put down at about the 47, 48-yard line. So Wisconsin owns the football at virtually midfield after a 32-yard punt. 6:16 to play. As start with the football at the 47-yard line. They lead 17-9. Stanford defense getting tired here in the fourth quarter. Wisconsin has just taken over the ball game in the second half. And though they haven't been able to really pull away and blow the Cardinal out of the Rose Bowl, they are beginning to assume control. And time now is definitely the ally of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Getting great leadership from that offensive line. Leadership and tenacity, the two key words for the Badgers.
Hollinger gives it again to Ron Dayne. Got his legs under him and just keeps on trucking. First down, Badgers near the 40-yard line.
Take a look at our Dell Game Solutions. The Stanford Cardinal controlled Ron Dayne in the first half, but remember that 64-yarder to start the second half, and since then, and especially now, Dayne with the ball behind that big offensive line. Great field position, all the things that Barry Alvarez said would happen today.
First down, Badgers. At it again. You see how quickly he saw his hole, saw where he wanted to go, planted, boom, gone.
Yeah,
that's 255 pounds, folks.
It's smooth too. It just glides out there, lets those big guys do their job, and the smooth, quick acceleration.
Things did get better in the second half, didn't they?
They got back to Wisconsin football. Give them the ball to number 33. Why not?
They've got a couple of tailbacks coming in, I understand, as freshmen that are economy size too. Here he goes again. Look at that. You don't get tokens for that free ride, I'll tell you. It's down to the 13-yard line before Tank Williams and Frank Primus can finally get him tangled up and bring him down, and it's first down, Wisconsin.
13 is Tank Williams, Keith, and the Stanford Cardinal tank is just about empty.
Yep.
Watch the job along the right side. You've got Costa. They just collapse the Cardinal defense, and there's that free ride. Primus and Tank Williams on the back of the Great Dane.
From the 23 now, Dayne is out of the ball game, and Carlos Daniels is in. Chad Kuhn's getting that carry. I think that's his second one of the day, and he gets a little bit out of it, a couple of 3 yards.
Talk about jumbo size. Daniels, fullback, backup fullback, 6'1", 243, just a sophomore. So
look at old Chad. He's
working hard.
He's put in a full day, hasn't he? He's 228 pounds, a sophomore. Daniels is also a sophomore. There's a lot of young players on this Wisconsin football team. They might be here next year. I look for Stanford to be a pretty good football team again next year, too. Did that ball come out?
Not if they gave it to Ron Dayne, it didn't.
No, it's Carlos Daniels in there. Time permitting, we invite you to stay tuned for the 2000 Ford Taurus postgame show, including the trophy presentation and interviews. Ball is right on the 20-yard line, where it's third down and 7. Now Dayne's back. Caught his breath, and he's back. Gets the ball coming outside. He didn't get his first down. He had to get on inside the 15-yard line to do that. Tank Williams, number 13 right there, who was a little bit deflated after thumping into that big old guy, and Stockbauer's played a good football game for Stanford.
Had a good year.
Yep. And timeout call now by Stanford. Wisconsin with one timeout remaining. Stanford now has one remaining. Time remaining in the game, you see 2:23 in the game, and the Badgers are driving. They're looking at fourth down right now and trying to add 3 with Vitaly Pisetsky. This might be enough. Low, missed it. That snap was a little high. Didn't get the ball down perhaps as cleanly as he would have liked to. And he missed the point. I mean, missed the field goal. So 17-9 means an 8-point difference. And you've got enough time for a passing team. Though I would say this, the well-advertised crossing patterns of the Stanford attack have been contained here in the second half.
Well, they studied the tape of the Notre Dame-Stanford game, and they saw Stanford at the end of each half go down the field with those crossing patterns. But I got a feeling we'll see a couple of them right now as Stanford comes out in 4 wides.
It's Uso, Davis, Walters, and Pitts. There's one. Ooh. Pretty good lick on Pitts there by Mike Eccles, the boundary corner. But he caught it and got something out of it.
And he got out of bounds.
And killed the clock. 2:13 remaining. Gain of 5 yards on the play.
Wisconsin will stay back in a very loose, do I dare say the word prevent defense. They'll play it a little bit tighter than that right now, but they want to keep Stanford in front of them and make the tackle. Very sure tackling secondary that Stanford's up against.
2nd down and 5. Out of the shotgun, Husak buying time out of the formation. Down the middle, big play. Caught at the 45-yard line by Tafiti Uso.
The anticipation by Husak on this throw was outstanding because Uso wasn't open when he let the ball go. Uso turned his head around. The ball was right there for the catch.
Clock stops, remember, in college football till they move the chains, and there's a penalty flag here. Look out for this one. The ball is caught by Tafiti Uso again, and he steps out of bounds. Would have a 1st down, but there's a flag on the far side of the field. Look out for that.
It might be against Wisconsin lining up in the neutral zone. Thrown at the line of scrimmage.
They didn't have the chain set either. It's against Wisconsin, all right, Dan. Keith Jackson, Dan Fouts, and Todd Harris, your announcers for today's ball game.
Offsides on the defense. Penalty will be declined. 1st down.
Put it on the 44-yard line of Wisconsin. 1st down.
1 timeout remaining for Stanford, and remember, they've got to get a touchdown, and then, which may be even harder to do in college football, is they've got to convert a 2-pointer to tie it.
Tyrone Willingham has put some trophies in his trophy case this season as well. The stoic one. Pass quickly over the middle to Pitts, incomplete. Thrown hard and behind him. Husak felt some urgency. What with the blocking collapsing and the pressure coming.
And what he also saw, Keith, was big number 77, Wendell Bryant, dropping back into coverage, looking for one of those crossing routes. Watch Bryant come out looking exactly. If he doesn't get in the way, the referee doesn't get in his way there, the umpire, he might have killed the receiver. Wendell Bryant doing it both ways.
2nd down and 10. Now you got flags. Wisconsin's applauding movement in the offensive front by Stanford, and that's probably going to cost them 5.
Ball start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Tyrone calling to his warriors, keep your poise. Stay calm.
Stay like me. Yep. Tyrone very composed on the sidelines.
On the other side, there's that volcano.
I'm so happy that he could
get down there.
Get down on the sidelines and stay out of harm's way. Great for Barry Alvarez. Get back where he wants to be.
I hope it doesn't bother him. That's a very difficult thing he's dealing with, that knee. There's another break.
That's 2 in a row for Schindler.
Twice in a row, Schindler has moved, and that'll cost him another 5 yards. So with 1:52 to play in the game now, the Stanford Cardinal having a little trouble holding their poise.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
And Husak is talking to the official about Wisconsin maybe jamming their signals. defense will do that, especially at critical times of the game after they've hurt a quarterback all game long. They'll try to make a sound similar to Husak makes as far as getting the ball snapped.
And remember, Mike McLaughlin only started the game, and he's been out virtually all of it. So a fellow who plays guard, Zach Quacha, has been the center. Husak running out of the pocket, dropped the ball, and Stanford covers it. It was Eric Heitman who saw the loose football and fell on it. Kolaji was the man that knocked it loose for Wisconsin.
A couple of moments ago, Stanford had good field position. We were talking about a two-point conversion tying this game. Since then, straight backwards.
Yep, and they've done most of it themselves.
Yeah.
Husak rolls out to get time and throws complete to Durrani Pitts. So they're going to have to look at a 4th and long to keep the ball. That stops the clock at 1:18 to play.
But it's a very manageable long situation. Forget the fact that it's 4th down. This is a normal type of situation for a 3rd down with about 7.5, 8 yards to go. Stanford can use their entire offense, and they're going to need their entire offense. Where has number 5, Troy Walters, been? No catches in the second half.
Mr. Fletcher has been on him like a shirt.
Well, they've got him in a slot now on the top of the screen right here.
Yeah, he's away from Fletcher for the moment.
Yep.
Going that way, and he's hit as he throws, and it is incomplete.
But Keith, the flag is down. It was delay of game against Stanford.
So there's no play.
And that's a break for Stanford. They'll get penalized the 5 yards, but they'll get one more shot.
Prior to the snap, delay a game on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
There are no options on this dead ball call. It's 1:16 to play.
And you know, the crazy way this game is, all the injuries that Stanford's had to overcome this week. Here they have a bad play.
Clock didn't run, though, on that last one, Dan.
Yep.
Shouldn't it be less than 1:16?
Yes, it should.
4th down and 12. Nothing. Wisconsin just won the football game. 1:11 to go. Ben Herbert with his second big play in the 4th quarter.
Ben Herbert is number 42, coming clearly unblocked there. Fairchild gets out a little bit too late, and the frustration for senior quarterback Todd Husak is matched by the jubilation of Barry Alvarez.
Don't jump, Barry. Don't jump. My goodness, don't jump.
Well, they're never going to call it Air Alvarez, I guarantee you that. They don't have to. They're about to do something no Big Ten team has ever done. Win back-to-back Rose Bowls.
Now all they've got to do is just run out the clock. Stanford has one timeout remaining, and you know they'll spend it as soon as they can. They keep tucking the ball into the big guy, Dayne, and it's hard to take it away from him. And you've got 1:04 to play now, and Stanford with no more times out. This 86 Rose Bowl game presented by AT&T. This year's president of the Tournament of Roses, Kenneth H. Burroughs. And we want to say, for an old friend, good friend, and a wonderful man who has handled the business for the Rose Bowl game and all of this, the CEO of the Tournament of Roses, Jack French, is retiring. The books are closed on this one. He and Patty are going off to do some different things. But we've certainly enjoyed our years of being associated with Jack French. 2nd down and 4. That'll be a 1st down for the Wisconsin Badgers. Now the count will begin. Today's game produced by Mark Loomis Directed by David Kiviat. Gary Larkins, our technical director. Associate producer Derek Mobley. Associate Director Brian Fay. Assistant to the producer Brian Lockhart, Anthony D'Annunzio. Production Manager Joe Alvarado. Tech Ops Manager Mark Torrey. Statistician Mark Amento. Kelly Hayes came down off the mountain to spot. Saved the day again. Computer Stats Jason Shaviko and Tim Goodman. And we wish all of you a very good year in this new century.
And Keith,
and we're running down the clock.
And Happy New Year to you. It's been great working with you. Great to have you back. I know everybody around the country, around the world, just loves to hear the voice of college football, and I'm lucky enough to be up here standing next to you.
Thank you, Dan. Bless your heart. I appreciate that. My pleasure. My pleasure indeed. As it continues to tick along, and now here's a point where it gets kind of dangerous for Barry Alvarez with all of the stuff going on the field. You don't want to get too involved with it. 2-1. It's over. The Wisconsin Badgers win 17-9. They are the first Big Ten team ever to win successive Rose Bowl games. We'll be back with two